And if you're thinking about what's going to happen to prices of things expressed in gold, prices are going to crash. I still think that the U.S. stock market is a bubble, that it's extremely overvalued based on artificially low interest rates. Right now, the way you're going to see that is the price of gold going up.
Gold and silver are no longer just options. They're lifelines. Welcome to another important video. Peter Schiff says a storm is coming, and only those who invest in precious metals will weather it. But here's the kicker. The truth about inflation, deflation, and the dollar collapse will leave you stunned. Stick around. Your financial future could depend on it. Stick around to discover why silver could be your secret weapon in 2025. So keep watching this informative and important video of Peter Schiff.
Well, forecast is higher. It was off to a great year before Trump was elected, although it's still having a great year, even after a little bit of a pullback following the Trump win. But I think a lot of that is the result of some unwarranted optimism with respect to an improving economy under Trump. I mean, maybe the economy will be better than it would have been under Harris, but I still think it's going to get worse. And the dollar has strengthened based on the belief that the Trump policies are going to be good for the dollar, and I don't think that they will. I think the dollar has fundamental problems that are going to weigh it down during the Trump presidency. Even if it gets a little boost early on, I expect the dollar to roll over, and that's going to be good for gold. I think it can easily be above 3,000 a year from now. It's 2,600 and change now, so I'd say above 3,000. It could be a lot above, but we'll see. We're already bankrupt, basically. I mean, if you just looked at the books, we're not solvent, but we're able to maintain a pretense of solvency because our creditors keep lending us more money. But if our creditors actually wanted their money back, we don't have it, right? And so technically then we're already insolvent. But we keep going deeper into debt because our creditors don't seem to care yet. But eventually they're going to care, and there's going to be a debt crisis. And so either we're going to default on the debt, which is going to trigger a whole, domino effect of problems, or we're going to print a ton of money and create massive inflation instead of, defaulting on the debt. Well, I'm in favor of an honest default. I think that's much better. And a restructuring of the debt where people get paid back less than 100 cents on the dollar. And it would be a lot less than 100 cents because the key is we need much higher interest rates. Interest rates in America and around the world, for that matter, have been much too low for too long. And this is screwing up the economy. And it's the source of a lot of the problems and the reason that Trump got elected. The standard of living is falling because we're not investing enough in capital investment and production. We're just borrowing and spending instead of doing that. And so we need higher interest rates, but we can't have higher interest rates with all this debt. So the way we get higher interest rates is to get rid of the debt. The best way to get rid of the debt is through default, right? And now when we have a lot less debt, interest rates could be higher and the debtors can afford to pay and service it. So we got to get higher interest rates, so we need defaults. But the politicians don't want that because that's an official admission that we're broke and that they screwed up. So we're going to get inflation. I mean, I'm confident that inflation is the path of least resistance. And as much as politicians now want to pretend that inflation's the enemy, inflation's really the friend of the government. Inflation helps the government get away with a lot of things. And so we're going to get a lot more inflation. Well, first of all, whether we have deflation or inflation is going to depend on your perspective. So if you're talking about gold being money, and if you're thinking about what's going to happen to prices of things expressed in gold, prices are going to crash. Right now, the way you're going to see that is the price of gold going up. But the real way to look at an increase in the price of gold is a decrease in the price of everything else. So you're going to see the price of real estate, the price of stocks fall measured in gold. So right now, you buy the Dow Jones, maybe it's 16 ounces, 17 ounces of gold. I haven't done the math, but that's going to fall dramatically. You'll be able to buy the Dow with 10 ounces of gold, then 5 ounces of gold, right? So that means the Dow is coming down, even if the nominal price is going up. So I think in terms of real money, it's 100% deflation. I mean, I think there's no way around that. That's what's going to happen. But the government can print unlimited amounts through the Fed of dollars. And so in terms of dollars, you're not going to see prices falling. You're just going to see prices exploding. But that's just because the dollar is collapsing in value. So from most people's perspective, the outcome is high inflation. But what's actually happening beneath the surface is a massive deflation. I still think that the U.S. stock market is a bubble, that it's extremely overvalued based on artificially low interest rates and the money that has been siphoned into the market. And particularly, somebody mentioned the Mag 7 stocks, stocks like a MicroStrategy, or these just pure bubble type companies with no real business other than speculation. So I think that in the long run, people should be accumulating foreign assets where the valuations are much better, particularly in a lot of the emerging markets where the sentiment is very negative. In the U.S., everybody is optimistic. Nothing can go wrong, right? The prices are very high. That's not attractive as a long-term investment. I mean, in the short run, it could work out. Prices go up, but it doesn't do you any good if you don't sell and you're not getting a lot of dividends. I think if you're a smart investor, you're accumulating. I've been accumulating these much better values internationally at a time where I think the dollar is dramatically overvalued. So I'm taking my overvalued dollars and I'm buying assets in other countries that I get on sale because of the temporary strength of the dollar. Yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of Chile, Peru. They've been generally moving in the right direction when it comes to less government and more freedom. And so we have some money down there, but in recent years, they've been making some steps in the other direction too. Although now Argentina, which for years was the poster child of failed socialism, now with Javier Milei, cutting and slashing and burning, I have some real cautious optimism on Argentina. You're optimistic on what Trump does. I think there's a much better shot in Argentina, and that's because things in Argentina were really bad for a long time, and so Milei actually ran on a platform of slashing the government, and a different path. And I think the electorate, after all those years or decades of broken promises from socialists, I think they were finally beat up to the point that they were willing to try something else. I think Americans are still wanting something from the government. I think the reason that they got rid of Biden is that they thought that they would get more stuff from Trump. I mean, because Trump never promised to take anything away. He just promised to give people more stuff. He never promised to take away any of the programs or benefits. But you can't make any real progress without making deep cuts in government spending. And so I don't think American voters are prepared for that yet.
Peter Schiff's predictions aren't just warnings. They're a roadmap to surviving and thriving. Will you seize the opportunity or watch it pass by? Hit like if you're ready to take control of your financial future. Share this video with everyone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more market-shattering insights. Together, we'll conquer the chaos, 1 ounce at a time.